I don't know whether or not TikTok is going to go away, but I've already seen a significant drop off in the level of activity on this app. So at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and let it all out and share my most extreme views. I don't think that we are adequately prepared for the reality of what things are going to look like post-inauguration. And I'm going to speak specifically to the experience of American women. I think that there's a lot to be said about the experiences of the LGBTQ community and the experiences of people of color and the experiences of immigrants, but those are not experiences that I have lived, so I don't feel comfortable speculating or talking about them. And so that's the only reason I'm speaking just to life as an American woman right now. But the level of misogyny that we're going to see going forward is going to be something that I don't think that any of us have any living experience with. I think we're going back much further in time. If you think about what happened after the election and the increase in the level of misogyny online and in the media after the election, I mean, we're talking significant increases with people like Nick Fuentes running around saying, "Your body, my choice." And it's not like pre-election things were perfect either. This is a country in which most rapes go unprosecuted, where if you are a rape victim and you go to the police, they are going to ask you questions like, what were you wearing? Were you drinking? Did you say no loudly enough? Did you fight hard enough? That's not that's not equality. We have never had true equality. That being said, the MAGA and the MAGA men in particular are angry that when we got additional rights that we did not have previously, we as women started to outperform them. We are better educated, we are getting better jobs, we are making better incomes, we are more likely to own our own homes. And rather than looking at themselves and realizing that they have never put in any real effort because the default experience they earned from their birth gave them a ridiculous level of privilege, and recognizing from that they need to step it up, they are choosing to blame us as if it's something that we have taken away from them, rather than seeing that we are inherently equal, but that they have been at the top of the hierarchy not because they deserve it or have earned it in some way, but because of an accident of birth. But they don't want to admit that, because to admit that means that they would have to actually work on themselves and make changes in their lives. And they are too lazy and too entitled to be willing to do that. So they're going to point the finger at women and at the LGBTQ community and at immigrants and at people of color and anyone else who they're demonizing. But all of that being said, I think that we are going to see a big shift again post-inauguration. I mean, we're talking about a president-elect who has multiple credible accusations of SA, who has a cabinet with multiple members with credible accusations of SA and rape against them as well. A potential Secretary of Defense who does not believe that women should serve in combat. We have the Heritage Foundation and Project 2025, which is real. I don't care what anyone says. J.D. Vance, who is a creature of the Heritage Foundation, and Peter Thiel. And to be clear, the Heritage Foundation has very firm ideas about the place of women. We have an obligation to reproduce. according to their views. It is not an option. It is an obligation. And we are too educated and have too many opportunities for education and too many opportunities for birth control and IVF, and all of these things, in their view, work together to delay us in having children and to reduce the number of children that we have. And those things are unacceptable. In their view, we should not have a say in all of this. We should be reproducing young, and we should be reproducing as many children as possible. And that is the world that they are going to insist on moving us toward. And they are going to do it through things like abortion bans and birth control bans and IVF bans, or as close to bans as they can get. But they're also going to do it in other fashions. Everything is a stepping stone. All of the misogyny that has been showing up since the election, that's a stepping stone. All of this is leading to a normalization of the idea that women are not people, that we are lower in the hierarchy, that men are at the top, that we exist to serve as sexual objects or to provide services, cooking, cleaning, laundry, childcare. We exist to produce children. I'm not saying that they're going to go to the extent of actually banning women from the workplace, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to do a lot of other things to push us out. I mean, if you look at what Mark Zuckerberg is saying, laying all of the blame for the feminization of Facebook on Sheryl Sandberg, who hasn't even worked there in years, and saying that we need to return to a more masculine culture in the work environment. Read between the lines, okay? Look at Elon Musk and the way he treats his female employees, and really any women around him. In his worldview, any woman who is around him should be grateful to be offered his sperm, should be grateful to be given the opportunity to procreate with him and to raise his children. They do not see women as people with thoughts or feelings that matter. And you are going to see this reflected in the behavior of every single Republican in office. Mike Johnson, as Speaker of the House, is already saying that it is unconstitutional for female representatives to vote in absentia if they are pregnant or have recently given birth. Never mind the fact that he himself has voted in absentia multiple times. Suddenly it's unconstitutional. It's because it was never about the process or the procedure or the policy. It was always about the fact that he and his party do not view women as complete human beings. We are less than, and we are kidding ourselves if we do not accept that reality. It is going to be very dangerous to exist as a woman in this country. It's dangerous today. I get that. All of us have things that we do if we have to go out in the evening, the way that we carry our keys, the way that we are aware of our surroundings, the way that we dress. I get that. But we are going to have to step it up 1,000-fold. And we are going to need the men who are our true allies to do the same in terms of looking out for us. And that is especially the case for those of us who live in red states, where it is going to be particularly dangerous. And with the Heritage Foundation and members of, the MAGA party in power wanting to ban corn, there are also going to be a lot of angry incels who have no outlet and who are going to internalize all of this misogyny and turn it into a belief that they can freely grape women. And I don't trust that the justice system is going to do right by us going forward, because it hasn't been doing right by us all along. I'm not trying to fearmonger or scare anyone, but I think this is a reality that a lot of us are not recognizing, and we're living in denial because it's too ugly to confront. But in order to protect ourselves and one another, we have to acknowledge it and look it in the face, as ugly as it is. And we need to look out for one another. That is the number one thing. We need to look out for one another.